Hello everybody, this is the Shy Hat, that's me, and we are HackerFrogs. Alright, so we're going to be doing HackerFrogs After School Linux OS Operations Workshop number 3. If everybody is here for that, then you are in the right place. Before we get started with our workshop, I'd like to do a public service announcement of sorts. Recently, my Twitch channel has been approved for monetization, which means that I'll be able to make money on my Twitch channel, which is nice. But unfortunately, that means that we're going to have to show ads on our Twitch channel now. Let's see. Kaoru747 says, hello, Kaoru747. Nice to see you again. All right, so that means that we're going to have to show commercial breaks every once in a while on the channel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to show the ads during the. Sorry, we're going to be showing the ads after we complete each one of our exercises, so as to not interrupt the flow of our online lessons. So we're going to have to do that after every 20 minutes or so, otherwise. But just so you know, I'll be telling you ahead of time before we show each ad, so that you all are not taken aback suddenly by some ads running in your face. All right, so everybody, let's review what we're going to be doing in today's class. So of course we're doing Linux Basics. Oh, we're not doing Linux Basics with Try Hack Me. That's a mistitle. We're still doing OverTheWire Bandit. So this is the third Intro to Linux OS Operations workshop. In the previous workshop, we learned about the following commands. All right, so we learned about the file command. The file command identifies the type of contents for a specified file. The file name must be supplied as an argument to the file command. So if you do file on picture.jpg, then you're going to find out that it is a JPEG file. So basically, the file command lets you identify the contents of files, which is very handy when you don't know what is inside of them. We also talked about the find command. The find command is used to search for files on the system. It can be used with many different arguments and flags to refine the search parameters. So most of the time, we're looking for files that are named a specific thing, or files with a specific file extension. So we can use the find command to find those files. It's a very handy tool to use inside of the Linux command line interface environment. And we learned about the grep command. The grep command searches within the contents of files for specified strings. It is very commonly used to pick out specific words or phrases. So if you have a very large file and you want to get only the line that contains a specific word, you can use the grep command to do that. So when we talk about grep and find, the find command is used to search for files, and the grep command is used to search inside of files. All right, so let's continue where we left off. So we're going to open up our command line terminal interfaces and then navigate to the following URL in the web browser. So we're talking about this URL right here that leads to, it deals with Bandit level 8. So I'm going to navigate there myself. So over the wire, War Games and Bandit. So everybody, if you still need help figuring out how to open up your command line interfaces, please let us know in the chat, and we'll try to help you out. So this is the link that we're navigating to right now. So inside of Windows, if you wanted to open up your command line terminal, you would go down to the search bar over here and then type in CMD. So CMD, and then you will see the command prompt over here. This is the program that opens up the command line terminal inside of Windows. So if I were to do that, I would get the command line terminal over here. Let me resize the window a little bit to make it a little bit easier to see in the middle over here. And as usual, if anybody has any questions or comments about any of the commands we're doing, or about anything else that pertains to the lesson, please speak up. I would very much like for this to be a dialogue between myself and everybody who's participating. And if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in chat. Okay, so that being done, let's go over to the Bandit level description. Actually, no. First, what we're going to do is we're going to get the password for the next level. Remember, if everybody has been keeping track of the Bandit level passwords, so inside of Windows we can type dir and it'll give us the contents of the directory, but inside of Linux it's the ls command. So in Windows we use dir, and in Linux we use ls. So if we've been keeping track of our banditpass.txt file over here, we can read it using the Windows type command. So it's going to be type and then the name of the file, banditpass. Remember that when you're typing out very long file names or directory names, you can use tab to autocomplete the name of the file. So just press tab after you type the first couple of letters and it'll autocomplete the file name for you. This is very handy and it'll save you a lot of time. So if we were to type this, we've been keeping track of all of our Bandit level passwords just like this. So I'm going to provide the password to everybody in the chat and I'll paste it in there. Okay, so everybody, let's use SSH to log into the next level of it. Does anybody remember what the syntax is for using the SSH command? If you don't remember, I'll be that's just fine. But just if anybody knows in chat, go ahead and provide that that syntax so everybody can just to let us know that you know what the syntax is. So remember, we're starting with SSH, and then we have to provide a username. In this case, we're logging into Bandit level 8, so the username is going to be Bandit8. And since this is a user on a server, we have to use the @ symbol, just like email. So bandit8 @ and it's going to be bandit.labs.overthewire.org. I believe it's .org. Yeah, okay. And then we have to supply a port number. So in this case, -P, and the port number we use is 2220. So this particular website, OverTheWire.org, has a bunch of different CTF games, but the Bandit game is going to be on port 2220. So now that we have this this SSH command right here, we can press enter to run the command, and it's going to ask us for the password. So we can use this password over here and copy it. And remember, when we want to paste in a command, it's either going to be Control-V or Control-Shift-V. I think you should get used to using Control-Shift-V because most of the time on Linux and Linux terminals, you have to use Control-Shift-C and Control-Shift-V to copy and paste. So Control-Shift-V to paste it in. And now we are now logged in. Okay, so everybody, if you managed to log into Bandit level 8 using SSH, please type I'm in SSH, and then some smiley faces, if you please, just so I know that you guys are following along. Thank you very much. Okay, Nicklin22, welcome back to the stream, Nicklin22. Nice to see you. All right, so we're logging into Bandit 8. Control-V has been working for me on Windows. It says Kaoru747. So Control-V and Control-C works on Windows terminals, but when you're inside of Linux terminals specifically, that may not work. So just keep that in mind, just in case your regular Control-C and Control-V doesn't work. Okay, so let's go over to the web page and let's read about the level goal. So it says the password for the next level is stored in the file data.txt and is the only line of text that occurs only once. Okay, so let's investigate this. All right, so we can go back to the terminal and we do ls to see what's inside the directory. We can also ls-la to get more information. So remember, .a reveals hidden files, and .l is going to return the output in a list form. Okay, so we see that there's the data.txt file inside of here, and if we try reading it, cat data.txt, we're going to see that it is a lot of different alphanumeric strings, any one of which could be the password for what we're looking for. Okay, so does anybody know what kind of commands we could use to potentially find out which line in this file occurs only once? So just like we see over here, the password for the next level is stored in that file and is the only line of text that occurs only once. So which commands could we potentially use to get the one line that occurs only once inside the file? Nicklin22 says grep. Well, that would work if we knew exactly what the line was that we were looking for. So if we had the password, or like a portion of the password, we could use grep. But in this case, we're not using grep. We're using something else. So let's take a look at the presentation that I prepared, and we'll talk about which commands we're going to be using. Okay, so first of all, we're going to be using the sort command. So the sort command takes all of the lines contained within a given file and returns them in alphabetical/numerical order. So the sort command is going to take all the lines in your file and it's going to put them in order according to either alphabetically or numerically. And second of all, along with the sort command, so this is how the sort command is used. So you just need to use sort and then the name of the file. So the command itself is sort and then the name of the file. We're also going to be using the unique command. And the unique command is going to take all the lines in a file and remove them if they're identical to the contents in the line above it. So if you've got two empty lines, it's going to remove the empty lines, or if you have any contents in a file that appear to be the same to the one above it, it's going to remove those identical lines. So this command is very useful for removing consecutive blank lines in a given file. This is the usual use of this command over here. So when you use the unique command, you have to we're going to be using this particular version of the unique command. It is unique, the name of the command itself, and then -c, which is the count flag, which is going to show us how many times this particular line appears inside the file. And then number 3 is going to be the name of the file that's going to be processed. So along with these commands, we're also going to be utilizing something called command piping. So command piping is a very important concept to understand inside of a Linux terminal. And the pipe character is this character right here. And on a keyboard, the pipe character is the shifted version of the / character. So the / character is usually located somewhere around the enter key on your keyboard. Different keyboards have different formats, but it's going to be the / key, but not the / key, the shifted version of the / key. And this is called a pipe. So in Linux, command piping is the process of passing the output of one command into the input of a second command. So what we're going to be doing to solve this challenge over here is we're going to be using command piping. We're going to sort all of the lines inside of data.txt, and then we're going to send that output to the unique command to get the number of times the line appears inside the file. So if anybody has any questions about how we're going to be using these commands, go ahead and ask in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to go over and demonstrate inside of the command line. So let's go back to the command line. So we've got all these lines over here. So first of all, we're going to use the sort command. So we're going to sort data.txt. And if we were to run this command by itself, we would see that all the lines that are identical are all grouped together. And they're also put into alphabetical order. But we don't know necessarily which one of these lines only appears once. So that's why we have to combine this particular command with the unique command. So we're going to run the command again, and this time we're going to pipe it. So use the pipe character right there, and then we're going to pipe it into the unique command, uniq, and then we're going to -c to see how many times it appears in the file, and then we're going to run this command. So the output of this command is going to be used as the input for the unique command over here. Let's try running this command and let's see how many times each of these appears in the file. So we see that all of these files over here, all these lines over here occur 10 times inside of this file. That's what this 10 represents. So if we see over here, all of these lines over here occur 10 times, except for this line over here, which occurs once. So this is the file, this is the password that we're looking for. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to provide it to the chat. Okay, so everybody, we're pretty close to finishing this level, but there's some noisy birds outside. All right, so before we finish out, we're going to I'm going to show you a way of seeing the password in the case where there are a lot more lines in this output, and that would be to do the sort command again. So we can pipe as many times as we want to inside of the terminal. So we can do sort, and then we can unique it to get only the unique entries with the count, and then we can sort one more time, and that's going to return the lowest number at the bottom of the output. So we do that. So we see exactly what we want at the bottom of the output, where we can get it nice and easy. All right. So everybody, that's the end of this particular level. All right. So if you before we move on, we're going to take a little break to run our commercial ads, but yeah, stick around, and then we're going to start on the next level. So first I'm going to exit out of here, and then I'm going to, please be patient, because this is the first time I'm running ads on Twitch, so I'm not really used to this. Okay, everybody, we're back. All right, so during the break, I asked everybody which organization you're with, either Women's Society for Cyberjutsu or BGH. I need to submit an attendance sheet to the organization after this workshop is over. So if you could please tell me which org you are with, that would really help me out. All right, so remember, we need to exit out of the server after we're finished. So we're not, so the prompt here shouldn't be bandit 8. It should be something else. So in my case, it's C users user. And we're going to echo out the password to our bandit password file. So we do echo b9 and then the password, and then paste it in, and then we're going to do double greater than to add to our bandit pass.txt file, just like this. So in case everybody was doing this at home and you don't want to type out that command, I'm going to paste it in chat for everybody. Okay, thank you very much. All right, so everybody, let's log into next level now. So remember, inside of the terminal, you can access the history of commands that you've used by using the up and down arrow keys. So you can do up and down to go over the different commands that you've run. So we can easily edit the SSH command that we ran earlier to access bandit level 9. So we just have to edit the number over here from bandit level 8 to bandit 9, and then we can run this as the SSH command. And it's going to ask for the password. The password is still here, but in case anybody needs the password, you can get it from chat, or if you can't see it in chat, go ahead and ask me, and I'll paste it for you. So paste in the password, and then we're at bandit level 9. So everybody, if you got into bandit level 9, please type B9 is in, and then you can, if you're on Twitch, you can use the cool cat emote, which shows a cat with sunglasses. All right, so let's go over to the web page to see what the level goal is for this particular level. I think we go over a very important concept over here. Caitlin Yo has just subscribed on on YouTube. Thank you very much, Caitlin. All right. So I'll go over this a little bit later. Okay. But what the level goal for this level is, it says that the password for the next level is stored in the file data.txt in one of the few human readable strings, preceded by several equals characters. So does anybody know offhand which commands we will need to use to solve this level? Okay, so we know that there are several equals characters over here, and it's in one of the few human readable strings. These two are big hints as to which commands we're going to be using to solve this level. And inside of each one of these level goal pages, there's a list of commands that can potentially lead you to the goal in this case. So they're talking about one of the few human readable strings. So what I want you to understand is that there are two types of input. You can broadly separate the contents of files on computers into two types. There's going to be human readable text and machine readable data. So if we're to demonstrate, inside of Windows over here, we've got our command.txt file. Sorry, the command.exe file over here, which opens up the Windows terminal. So if we were to try to open this up with a word terminal, sorry, some word processing software like Notepad, and we're to open this, we see that there's a few human readable lines, like this program cannot be run in DOS mode, and then just a bunch of gibberish. So this is not meant for people to read, it's meant for the computer to read this. And this is what the computer is going to read to execute the program. So this is what we mean by human readable strings. So inside of a program that doesn't have, inside of a file that doesn't have human readable strings, there's usually a few human readable strings mixed in there. And let's find out how to read those. So we're going to go back to the presentation over here. So we're talking about binary data and text strings. So data, also known as binary data, is what software reads to execute programs, and text strings those are the things that are intended to be read by humans. So we have these two types, binary data and text, sometimes called ASCII text. So files containing binary data will output gibberish when read from the CLI console. So if we were to try to just read these without having the computer read them, then it's going to be a bunch of stuff we can't read. So to get the human readable strings out of a file that has mostly binary data, we use the strings command. So the strings command is used to return human readable text from files. It is often used to find text inside of files that also contain text and binary data. So if we're to go back to our terminal over here, and then we're inside of the level and we see that there is a data.txt file. All right, so if we were to use file on data.txt, it'll tell us what kind of data is inside the file. And in this case, it says data. When Linux says that the file contents are data, it means that there's machine readable binary data, which people normally can't read. So if we were to try reading this file, it's just a bunch of machine data that we can't read. But if we were to use the strings command, and I think I show you how to use the strings command over here. So using the strings command is quite simple. It's just strings and then the name of the file that you want to extract the strings from. So strings data.txt, let's give it a go. So this is going to return all the human readable strings. So of course, just because we're getting human readable strings out of the data, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get something that we can read, because often binary data can also be interpreted as text, so you can get a lot of funny output just like this. So the goal here is to pipe this command. So strings data.txt, we're going to pipe it into the grep command. And why are we using the grep command? The answer is over here. We're going to use the grep command because we know that the password is preceded by several equals characters. So if we know that there are several equals characters before the password, we can grep that out, and because it's on the same line, then we're going to be able to get the password that way. Okay, so let's go back. So we're going to grep for these equal characters, and we're going to, so I think you should be able to just do it like this. So this output is going to be passed over to grep, and grep is going to look for these equal characters right here. Okay, so let's try that out. The syntax might be wrong, but I'm going to give this a try. Okay, so this works. So we use the output of strings of the strings command, and then we pipe that into the input of the grep command, looking for these equal signs. So we found these lines right here, and it says the password is this. Okay, so we can copy that, and I'm going to paste the password into chat. All right, let's exit out of here. So we're going to exit. Okay, it should say connection to bandit.labs.overthewire.org is closed. And then we're going to use the echo command to copy this new password to our password file. So we need to edit the echo command here, so v10, and then we're going to delete this password right here. And then we're going to copy the password, and we're going to paste the password in. and this is going to create the line inside of the banditpass.txt file. So if we were to type that file out, we see that we have all of our passwords from Bandit 1 all the way to Bandit 10. All right, so before we start the next level, let's start, everybody, let's try to log into the next level, Bandit 10. And while we're all logging into Bandit 10, I'm going to play another advertisement. Sorry to everybody who doesn't like watching ads, but I have to play the ads manually, otherwise they're going to appear at random intervals during the stream, and I don't like that. So we're going to play a 1-minute ad now. So everybody, while the ad is playing, try logging into Bandit level 10. Okay, so everybody, everybody should be back from the commercial break. Sorry about that. Yeah, during the break, I was just telling everybody. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can also subscribe to the channel using your Amazon Prime account, because Amazon Prime lets you subscribe to one Twitch account for free every month. And it's a great way to support the stream and the channel without spending any money, which is nice if you happen to already have an Amazon Prime account. All right, so let's go over to the level goal over here. Everybody, if you're ready to solve Bandit level 10, please say Bandit 10 in chat. And if you're on Twitch, you can use the OS Frog emote to display a little frog. Okay, so it's Bandit level 10. Okay, let's take a look at the goal. It says the password for the next level is stored in the file data.txt, which contains base64 encoded data. All right, so has anybody here ever heard of base64 encoding or the base64 codec? If you have, please let us know. Base64 is a very common encoding type that you see all over the internet, and you also see it a lot in CTF challenges because it's an easy way to transform information. Nicklin22 says that they have. Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. All right, so let's learn a little bit more about this mysterious base64 encoding. But first, let's go over to the terminal, and we see that we have data.txt over here. If we were to cat this out, data.txt, we would see this very long string over here, and this string is actually base64 encoded. So base64 encoding is an encoding standard that's made of uppercase letters and lowercase letters and numbers. But specifically, it also features these equal symbols at the end of the string in the case that the string is not divisible by the number 4. So that's a very telltale sign that we're dealing with base64 encoding. So when you're doing cybersecurity exercises, you're going to encounter this a lot, but after a while, you're going to be able to identify this pretty easily. So let's go over to the presentation. So we're talking about, there's a command in Linux called base64 as well that encodes or decodes things according to the encoding format. And the base64 command encodes and decodes data according to the base64 codec. It is often used to convert data for transmission across computer networks. So certain applications, they don't like specific characters. Maybe they don't like specific special characters, like maybe they don't like the percentage sign, or they don't like single and double quotes, because they can interpret those characters as commands inside of their software. So what we like to do is we like to convert the data into something that is safe to transmit across the network. And in most cases, we can transmit simple letters and numbers across the network without any problems. So the characters used in base64 encoding are shown here. We have to note that all base64 encoded strings must consist of a number of characters that is divisible by 4. So when you're encoding something into base64, the number of characters inside of that string is always going to be divisible by 4. So in the cases where encoded strings are not divisible by 4, the encoding process will pad out the string with a number of equal symbols until the string is divisible by 4. So in this case, if we're to take this string right here, password, and then we're to base64 encode it, it would become this string right here. So this string right here, when we decode it, is going to become password. And it has one equal sign right here because the number of characters over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And 11 is not divisible by 4, so they're going to add an extra equal sign over here to make sure that it's divisible by 4. So to use the base64 command, we need base64, which is the command itself. And then we need to use the decode switch, which is -D for decode. And then we're going to specify the file that is going to be operated upon, which is data.txt. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to the terminal. And we see that we have data.txt over here. So what we need to do is we need to use base64 to decode the file. So it's base64 and then decode -D and then the name of the file, data.txt. And when we run this command, okay, we see that the password is this right here. So if we were to take this, so obviously this is the password for the next level. So we're going to copy it, and I will paste it in chat for everybody. So just to show everybody how the how base64 encoding works, so I'm going to take this text right here and then copy it, and then we're going to echo this, echo -N so that it doesn't get the new line, and then I'm going to paste in this text. But in this case, we have to wrap everything in quotes, otherwise there's going to be a problem. So we paste this in, we put it in quotes, and then we're going to pipe this to base64, and that's going to encode this string again. So we see that. Oh, that's strange. Oh, okay. I think I know what the problem is. So it's because I did it without the new line. So let's try this again. Okay, so now we got the exact So we started with this as the encoded string, and then we decoded it using base64d to decode, and it comes out as this. But then if we were to echo this out, this exact string that we decoded, and then we base64 encode it again, we get exactly what we started with. Okay, so all right, so let's exit out of here, and let's add to our bandit.txt file. All right, so we go back to echo, and we see here that this is bandit11. This is the password for bandit11. So we're going to get out of here, and we're going to copy this password here. We're going to paste it in. So echo b11, and then this, and then over to banditpass.txt. So we have all the passwords for the bandit levels over here. So everybody, this is the last level of the bandit game we're going to be going over as part of learning Linux. But next time we're going to be doing a module from the TryHackMe website. Who here has used TryHackMe before? So to anybody in the chat, if you've used TryHackMe before, please type THM true in chat. Nicklin22 has used it before. All right, good. Okay, so this was the last level we're going to be covering in today's workshop. It was a little bit shorter than usual, but I didn't want to go too far into Bandit because it gets a little bit impractical after these levels. So everybody who's been with us for this workshop, if you're with Black Girls Hack, please submit this survey. And if you're with Women's Society for Cyberjutsu, please submit this survey over here. And while you're filling out the survey, I'm going to play one more ad, and then we're going to do our summary and wrap up for this workshop. So just thank you very much for your patience. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for being patient with us while we took our ad break. But let's review the Linux commands we learned in this workshop. So we're talking about the sort command. So the sort command takes all the lines contained within a given file and returns them in alphabetical/numerical order. We also learned about the unique command. The unique command takes all the lines in a file and removes any lines with identical contents to the one above it. this command is very useful for removing consecutive blank lines in a given file. And we also talked about command piping. So command piping is a very important concept for understanding how to navigate inside of Linux. Command piping is the process of passing the output of one command into the input of a second command by use of the Linux pipe character. And we also learned about the strings command. The strings command is used to return human-readable text from files. It is often used to find text inside of files that contain text and binary data. And the last command we learned about today is the base64 command. The base64 command encodes/decodes data according to the base64 format. It is often used to convert data for transmission across computer networks. So anytime you have a file, like a zip file or an image file or an executable file, and you want to send it across a computer network, most of the time it's going to be converted into a format that is safe for network transmission before it is sent across the network. So base64 is one of those common encoding types used to transform information before it's sent across networks. So what's next? So in the next Linux OS operations workshop, we'll switch gears and learn with the Linux fundamentals room at the TryHackMe education platform. So if we go over to tryhackme.com, so this is a great cybersecurity learning platform that you can use, and I'm going to log in just so I can show everybody. Does it have my credentials saved? I'm gonna try logging in. Okay, and so inside of TryHackMe, you can go over to the Learn tab over here, and you can search for different rooms. So rooms are what TryHackMe calls their learning modules rooms, and you can search by any rooms by a keyword. For example, if we were to search for Linux, then you would see that they have a bunch of different rooms that are dedicated to Linux, and we're going to be going over this room over here, Linux Fundamentals Part 1, as part of next week's learning exercise. But there's all sorts of different rooms over here. If you don't already have an account over at TryHackMe, I recommend signing up for one, as well as TryHackMe. There are a couple of other resources for learning Linux that I'd like to introduce to everybody. For example, we've got Linux Journey, Linux Journey, which is this website right here, and I'll provide this link to the chat. And the unfortunate thing about Linux Journey is that they don't have interactive training exercises, but they have a lot of different interesting and informative modules and articles over here. For example, let's see. We're also going to be talking about things like file permissions in the next few workshops. But over here, you can read about a great article over here about file permissions inside of the linuxjourney.com website over here. And I think there are some games as well that you can use to learn the Linux terminal. And I think one of them was called, let me try to look it up real fast. So Linux terminal games. What was I thinking about? I think it was called Terminus. Terminus, right? Okay, so this one is published through the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So I'll also provide the link over here as well. So this is a fun little online game that you can use to interact with the Linux terminal. And let me make this bigger for everybody. So inside of here it says, look at your surroundings with the command ls, move to no location with the command cd location. You can backtrack with the command cd ... and interact with things in the world with the command less item. If you forget where you are, type pwd, go ahead and do ls as your first command. So let me demonstrate over here. So ls, and it has this fun little graphics display over here. And there are different locations over here. You can use the cd command to access each one of these locations. So for example, if we wanted to go to the Western Forest, we could do cd Western Forest, and remember that you can use the tab autocomplete to autocomplete any file names or directory names. So cd Western Forest, you have moved to Western Forest, you enter and travel deep into the forest, and there's a sign that says Spellcasting Academy. Okay, so we can do ls to see what's in here. So this kind of replicates what old text-based adventures are like, but yeah, if you have some spare time and you want to try this out, I highly recommend it. I haven't really gone through too much of it, but it seems like a fun way of getting yourself familiar with using the Linux terminal in a game type environment. Remember that if you don't have access to a Linux machine, you can always go over to JS Linux, and I'll provide a link to JS Linux over here. And inside of JS Linux is just like any other Linux terminal. So you can try out all of your commands. They have a few files over here. They also have some text files and some Python files if you know how to run Python. Does anybody here have experience with Python? If you do, please type Python snake in chat. So you can cat out this readme file out here, readme file.txt. And if you wanted to look for all of the text files inside of the terminal here, we could use the find command. So find slash, and then we're looking for dash name, and it's going to be star.txt. Inside of Linux, star, when we're looking for files, means any file. So it's going to be any file.txt, and that's going to let us search for any files that have the .txt file extension. And let's see what we can find in here. It's thinking. Okay, so by using the find command, we can look for these txt files. It looks like it's running pretty slow, but oh, one more thing that I'd like to tell everybody about before we finish today's session is about the HackerFrogs Reddit channel, Reddit community over here. So it's going to be at reddit.com/r/HackerFrogs. And we have a bunch of different topics on the Reddit page. And HackerFrogs is a Reddit community where we talk about beginner cybersecurity and about different educational resources. So, for example, we've got all sorts of YouTube videos that I've been posting to the HackerFrogs channel, which I post almost every day, as well as if you wanted to learn about Python, we've got a whole thread talking about Python educational resources. So I've listed a bunch of them over here. I think I did one on Linux as well. Let me okay, so not that one. So maybe I haven't posted the one on Linux yet, but but I will be posting one pretty soon. If you've ever wanted to learn about really low level languages like x86 assembly, there's also a post I made on that. Hold on. Okay, but anyways, that's not really too relevant. One important thing about the HackerFrogs Reddit is that we also post our streaming schedule. We're currently in week 20 of 2024, and we're going to be doing this is the stream that we're doing right now, the NixOS Operations number 3. We're also going to be doing an extra credit stream on Wednesday. So Wednesday it's going to be extra credit Linux 3. Once again, we're going to be going into picoctf in order to run through a bunch of Linux exercises over there. I think Nicklin22 has been joining us for the extra credit classes over there, and I hope to see more people over there, because it's always fun to run through exercises in picoctf, because it's usually very, very fun, and it's always great learning how to get flags from the picoctf challenges. All right, so everybody, thank you very much for coming today, and thank you very much for being patient as I monetize the channel over here. And I don't like selling out, but if I want to continue on with my Twitch career over here, I have to run ads. But yeah, next stream is going to be on Wednesday, where we're going to be doing our picoctf challenges. But if you can't make it for that one, we're going to be doing Try Hack Me, the Linux room over there. But until then, have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next time.